Hello, grade 9 students. In this video, we're going to continue with our chapter genetics and we'll move to part 2 in this week 24. In this week, also, I'm going to start with some notes that we already covered in the week 23. So first, we're going to talk about reproduction. We said that reproduction is the biological process that leads to the increase in the number of individuals in each species to avoid the extinction. Also, we said this is the symbol of the male, the female symbol, and X means mating. We said that we have two different types of reproduction, sexual reproduction and asexual. Asexual, it occurs when one organism copies itself to produce the offspring, while the sexual, the sperm fertilizes an egg to produce an offspring. Also, we said what is fertilization? It's the union of the male gamete, which is the sperm, with the female gamete, which is the ovum, to form the zygote and the embryo. So fertilization is the union of the male and female gametes. So the male gamete is the sperm, female gamete is the ovum. Also, we said what is heredity is the transmission of traits from the parents to their offspring, and we're going to talk about the traits, what the meaning of traits. So remember this word. Also, we said genetics is the science of heredity, is the science that studies heredity. Moving to this cell, this is the animal cell containing the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the cell membrane, and we can say that the nucleus is the carrier of the genetic information, where the nucleus contains the chromosomes, where the chromosomes, they are X-shaped structures. They are found in the nucleus and they carry the genetic information. So everything related to the genes, to the genetics information, they are found in the nucleus and they are carried by the chromosome. So the chromosome structure, this is the structure of the chromosome. This is the chromosome, contains two sister chromatids. So these two, they are the sister chromatids. This is the first sister chromatid and this is the second sister chromatid. They are called sister chromatids because they look the same. So every one of these is called a chromatid. And another one, they meet at the middle. This region is called the centromere. So genes, what are the genes? Genes, they are part of the chromosome. They are a portion or a segment of the chromosome responsible for the appearance of specific traits like the hair color gene, the skin color gene, the eye color gene, and so on. Every gene has a specific locus, meaning that it has a specific position on the chromosome. These two sister chromatids, they carry the same genes at the same loci. So for example, if you have this chromosome, okay, so we have them on the same position. It's called the same loci, the plural of locus. Alleles, they are, as we said before, they are the models of the gene. They are the version or the form of a gene. For example, we have the gene of the eye color. The different models, they are called allele. So have brown eye allele, green eye allele, hazel eye allele, blue eye allele. For the gene of the hair color, we have the brown color allele, the blonde, the red, the black, and so on. So the different models, they are classified as the alleles. So here we move to the different types of cells. As you know, we have two different types of cells. We have the somatic cells, as known as the diploid cells, or we have the sex cells or the reproductive cells known as the haploid cells. So somatic cells, they are all the body cells except the gametes, while the sex cells, they are only the gamete, the sperm and the ovum. We have two copies of each chromosome in the somatic, while in the sex cell, we have one copy of each chromosome. The number of chromosomes is 2n, and in human it's 2n equal 46. While in the haploid, it's 1n, it's 1n equal to 23. Moving to this application. Considering the gene of the eye color, we have two alleles. we have the green allele and we have the brown allele. So the possible combination or the possible choices in the different persons, first of all, maybe we have brown allele and brown allele. First one from the maternal origin from the mother, and the second one is from the paternal origin from the father. So brown from the maternal from the mama, and P paternal from the papa. So one from the mother and one from the father. So this is the first choice. Person 2 may have one brown from the mother, maternal origin, and the second green from the paternal. So one brown from the mother. Pay attention here to the case of person 3. It's the different, the opposite, where green is from the mother, from the maternal origin, and brown from the paternal origin. So we have two different alleles here. Why the last one? Maybe both of them, they will be green. So green allele from the maternal origin and green allele from the paternal. So both of them, they are the same. So what can we say if we have identical alleles? And what can we say when we have different alleles? Let's see. If the first person has both brown allele from the maternal origin and brown allele from the paternal. So this person, it has two identical alleles for the eye color. So they have two identical alleles. So this person is said to be homozygous, or you have to know other word, it's called pure. So this person has two identical alleles. So this person is pure or homozygous for the eye color. Person 2 has one brown and one green. So this person has two different alleles for the eye color in this exercise. So this person is said to be heterozygous or hybrid. So whenever we have two identical alleles, it's homozygous or pure. When we have two different alleles, like the case of person 2, it's said to be heterozygous or hybrid. 3, we have a green and a brown. So two different alleles, but here the green is from the maternal origin. So this person is said to be heterozygous or hybrid for the eye color. And the last one, person 4, two identical alleles, both are green. So this person is said to be homozygous. So here we can deduce that when the person has two identical alleles for the same gene, so it's said to be homozygous or pure. When it has two different alleles for the same gene, it's said to be heterozygous or hybrid. Do we have to know both terms? Homozygous means pure and heterozygous, it means hybrid? Yes, we have. So the question is, when the alleles are identical, the individual is said to be homozygous or pure, or you can say it's a homozygote. While when the alleles they are different, the individual is said to be heterozygote or hybrid, or you can say heterozygous. Okay, so here two identical alleles, homozygous or pure. Two different alleles, heterozygous or hybrid. Moving to the alleles. In the alleles, we have some alleles, they are stronger. So they are called the dominant allele. This is the strong allele. The strong allele is called the dominant, the one that dominates. That is the strong one. It can be expressed in both homozygous or heterozygous. That's why usually it's symbolized by the capital letter. From now on, this is the definition of the dominant allele. Dominant is the one that dominates. For example, you have the animal that dominates. Here we have the allele that dominates. It's the strong allele, the dominant allele. It can be expressed whenever we have two same alleles, two identical alleles, or two different, meaning that in case of homozygote or heterozygote. And always it's symbolized by a capital letter. So we give it a symbol as capital letter. While the weak allele is said to be the recessive allele. So recessive allele, it cannot be expressed unless with another weak allele. So they should be expressed in the case of homozygote only. That's why we gave it a symbol with a small letter. So it's dominant allele, it can be two strong, two dominant, or one dominant and one recessive, one strong and one weak. While the recessive allele can appear and can be expressed when we have two weak alleles. So two weak together, so it will be expressed. So let's move to this application. Considering the gene of the eye color, if the brown allele is dominant over the green allele, so the green allele is said to be what? Is said to be the recessive allele. So the brown is dominant and the green allele is recessive. So what do we have? We have different combinations. So let B be the symbol, pay attention here. Let B be the symbol of the dominant brown allele over the recessive green allele. So here the dominant, we gave it a capital letter. Let B capital be the symbol of the dominant brown allele over the recessive green allele. Let G small be the symbol of the recessive green allele with respect to the dominant brown allele. What are the different combinations? Either we can have BB or BG or BG or GG. Someone is going to ask what the difference between these two, BG and BG, person 2, person 3. We will talk about this. First, we have two brown. Two of them, they are dominant. So the dominant will be expressed. So what will be the color of the eye? It will be brown. While if we have one dominant and one recessive, one strong and one weak, which one will be expressed and which one will appear? Sure, the dominant, the strong. So it will be brown also. In person 3 also we have one dominant and one recessive. So the dominant will appear and also will be brown. So wait a minute. BG and BG, what the difference? Maybe B there is from the maternal origin. And here the G is from paternal origin. And person 3, the opposite. B is from paternal and G from maternal. But in the questions later on, they will be the same. But here I gave it in order to know the paternal origin from the papa and the maternal origin from the mama. Last one, it's a GG. G is recessive. It's the weak. So it needs another weak allele in order to be expressed. So it needs another G. So we have G from the mother and G from the father. So the color will be green. So here, these are the alleles. The set of alleles is known to be as the genotype. So whenever we have these set of alleles, we call it a genotype. While the traits that appear, remember when I told you at the beginning of the session, the traits that appear, we call them phenotype. So now let's move to the definition of the phenotype and the genotype. So genotype, here is Freyr's model. Here we have example. Here we have a non-example, if you want to say. And the first box, it will be the definition. So what is the definition of the genotype? Is the set of genes, the group of genes, and their corresponding alleles. Example, BB, BG, GG, this is called the genotype. While these blue and tall, they are not the genotype, this is non-example. We will see they are called the phenotype. While here, the phenotype definition is the set of the observed trait resulting from the expression of the genotype. Example, the genotype will give the phenotype. This is before we continue. Always the genotype will code for the phenotype. So genotype will decide the phenotype. Okay, so the phenotype will be decided according to the genotype. So the phenotype, tall, short, black, short, red, green, violet, purple, hazel eye, and so on. All of them, all the traits, they are classified as phenotype. Whereas these BB, BG, GG, this is not an example. Why do we call this? These are the genotypes. Okay, so here we identified the different definition of the dominant allele and the recessive, and also about the phenotype and genotype. Thank you guys. Bye bye.